Luis Figo. Luis Figo walked into Camp Nou wearing a Real Madrid shirt, only to be met with fake money, insults, and a pig's head thrown at his feet. Football had never seen such chaos caused by betrayal before. Figo was the clear star of Barcelona by the end of the 1990s. He wasn't just popular with fans, he was the club's face of ambition. So when rumors started circulating in the summer of 2000 that he might join Real Madrid, no one was too worried. Figo himself publicly promised to stay loyal. "I'm staying. I would never go to Madrid." Famous last words. Florentino Perez, who was running for president of Real Madrid, made a wild promise during his campaign. If he won, he would sign Figo. Everyone thought it was a lie. Even Barca fans laughed it off. Then it happened. The man who was supposed to lead Barcelona's future became the face of their enemy. He signed a contract with Madrid, and that wasn't all. He was the first signing of the Galactico era. It was pandemonium when he returned to Camp Nou in white. Every time he touched the ball, 100,000 fans booed. People held up signs that said Judas. They threw a pig's head onto the field. The mood was violent, raw, and biblical. Figo later said it wasn't about money, but respect. He felt like he wasn't getting enough, but no amount of reasoning could fix the damage. For Barcelona fans, it wasn't just a transfer, it was a betrayal that changed the way people hate in football. Robin van Persie. Robin van Persie didn't leave Arsenal quietly. He wrote a letter to the fans, thanked them, and then joined their biggest rival for the title. What happened? Nuclear. Arsenal weren't moving forward in 2012. There hadn't been any trophies in years, the squad depth was fading, and the captain Van Persie was carrying too much weight. He had just finished the best season of his life. 30 goals in the league, a boot made of gold. The board still couldn't get him to stay, so he took a different road. Not abroad, not later. Now and to Manchester United. There was outrage right away. Arsenal fans felt betrayed, while United fans felt blessed. For a team like Arsenal, losing a captain to a direct rival felt like getting hit in the gut with brass knuckles. Scarves were set on fire. Nicknames were made. Van Traitor, the Flying Dutch Rat. Every time he went back to the Emirates, people yelled insults. Van Persie later said he joined United to win things. And yes, he did. He won the title in his first season. It hurt even more that he wasn't just another part of United. He was the one who made the difference. The final piece. But here's the funny part. Arsenal fans didn't forget while United celebrated. It's not always about what you win. It's about who you leave behind and what you break along the way. Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell didn't just leave a football team. He started a war. When he showed up at Highbury wearing Arsenal colors, every Tottenham fan knew this wasn't a normal transfer. It struck at the very heart of what they stood for. He wasn't pushed out or forgotten, though. Oh no, Campbell was in charge there. Their rock. He had been the leader of the backline for almost 10 years, wore the armband with pride, and had spoken about loyalty more than once. When Arsenal announced his arrival out of the blue, it felt like a punch in the gut. No build-up, no clues, no long negotiations. Just one huge news story. Sol Campbell moves to Arsenal for free. Fans were caught off guard, betrayed. You could hear it in pubs, on forums, and in chants that turned nasty overnight. The reaction was volcanic. Spurs fans called him Judas, hissed at every touch, and burned his shirt in the streets. There was no way to come back from that in North London. The stress stayed with him for years. I mean, think about how it would feel to switch from one enemy to another without saying goodbye. And what about Campbell? He never flinched. He won trophies with Arsenal. He didn't falter. He kept his word and won. But if you ask any Tottenham fan today, they won't say he succeeded. They'll say he vanished, disappeared into red, leaving only rage and silence behind. Mario Götze. Mario Götze agreed to join Bayern Munich just hours before Borussia Dortmund's biggest Champions League match in decades. If timing is everything, this was sabotage. Let's be honest, Götze was Dortmund's star player, the product of their academy, their own miracle. Fans thought he was just like them. But just as the club was getting ready for a historic semi-final against Real Madrid in 2013, they heard he was leaving to Bayern for 37 million euros. No less than Pep Guardiola would coach him. The heartbreak could be heard all over the yellow wall. Come on, your best player leaves now? For them, it wasn't just a move. It was betrayal served cold, at the perfect time for the worst effect. Dortmund fans didn't take it lightly. Chance of Judas? Check. Burned shirts? Yes. Whistled every time he touched the ball? Every time. But the emotional whiplash made it worse. He wasn't kicked out, mistreated, or benched. This was his choice. Of course, Bayern had always been Dortmund's rival. But after the fight for the title in 2012, things got personal. And Götze switching sides just before a European showdown? That made it nuclear. Did he get trophies there? Yes. Did he ever really fit in? Not really. Talent can help you reach your goals, but it can't win you forgiveness. And Götze? He got medals, but he didn't have a home to go back to. Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole walked into a Chelsea meeting while he was still talking to Arsenal about his contract. That 5-minute detour led to one of the worst fallouts in Premier League history. This wasn't about moving far away. It wasn't a transfer to a different country or a bold leap into the unknown. It was across the city, from North London to West, from red to blue, from unbeatable to, well, unforgivable. During contract talks, Cole reportedly felt undervalued. Arsenal's offer came in lower than expected, and he believed the club was underestimating his importance. But instead of negotiating further or speaking publicly, he arranged a secret meeting with Chelsea officials. It wasn't illegal, but when it leaked, it blew up everything. When the transfer was completed in 2006, the backlash from Arsenal fans was ruthless. Cashley became the insult of choice. Fake 20-pound notes with his face circulated in the stands. He was booed on every return, loudly, consistently, endlessly. Cole, for his part, defended his choice. He said he felt overlooked during negotiations, like a key player whose value had been downplayed. And while Arsenal never pushed him out or forced a move, the breakdown in trust led him to pursue a new path, one that, legally handled or not, Arsenal fans would never forgive. And yes, he did win trophies with Chelsea. He became one of the best left-backs in England. But in North London, loyalty is sacred. And once it's traded, no amount of silverware can buy silence. Gonzalo Higuaín. Gonzalo Higuaín didn't sneak out of Napoli. He blew up his legacy in broad daylight by joining Juventus, the team that Napoli fans hated the most. Think about it. He had just set a new record for most goals in a single Serie A season with 36. People in São Paulo worshipped him. His name was a promise, a chant, a heartbeat. And then what? Boom. He signed with Juventus in July 2016. There was no goodbye post or thank you speech, just a medical in Turin and a fee of 90 million euros. Fans were furious, not disappointed, but angry. They set fire to his shirts, tore down his posters, and held a protest outside the club's offices. For them, it wasn't about money or ambition. It was about betrayal stacked on betrayal. The funny thing is, Napoli had been looking to Juventus as a standard to live up to, the powerful and wealthy North, the thing that Napoli was trying to overcome. And Higuaín, their best weapon, crossed that line with a smile. And yes, he did win trophies in Turin, but do you know what he lost? The city that loved him no matter what. That feeling of stepping onto a field and being loved, not just tolerated. You can break records, win trophies and cash checks, but you can't unburn a jersey. Higuaín's name will always sound more like a scar than a story to Naples. Roberto Baggio. Roberto Baggio was sold to Juventus within 48 hours of his agent denying all the rumors. When the news broke, Florence looked like a city that had been betrayed by its own church. In 1990, Fiorentina fans weren't just watching a player leave. They were watching their sense of self being taken away. Baggio had become their heartbeat, a quiet, poetic genius with a ponytail and a left foot that could bend physics. He played with style, humility, and heart. The thought of him wearing black and white? Impossible. But it did happen. Fiorentina's board made the deal with Juventus for a record fee because they were worried about money. And no, the fans didn't like it. Riots broke out in Florence within hours. Cars were flipped over. Windows were broken. The people in the city weren't sad. They were furious. And just when things couldn't get any stranger, Baggio's first game against his old team gave both fan bases an image that still haunts them. He refused to take a penalty for Juve and then picked up a Fiorentina scarf from the field. What was that? Shame? Defiance? Nobody really knew. He would say years later, "My heart has always been purple." Nice words, but by then the damage was done. Fiorentina fans didn't see him as the man who left. He was the person who sold his soul. Johan Cruyff. Johan Cruyff's signing with Feyenoord shocked the football world and shattered Ajax's identity in one swift move. Let's go back. We're talking about Ajax, and about a man who won the Ballon d'Or 3 times, was a European champion, and invented total football. He thought he would get a 1-year extension after coming back in 1981 and helping the club win the double. The board said no. Just like that. No ceremony, no honor, just no. So what did Cruyff do? He made a deal with Feyenoord, Ajax's biggest enemy. That's not a twist, it's an earthquake. Fans couldn't understand it. Banners were torn, season tickets were returned. Some fans even promised never to watch football again. What was sacred anymore if Cruyff could leave? And here's the best part. He didn't just play for Feyenoord, he was the best. He led them to win both the league and the cup. At 36, he showed Ajax what they had lost with one last great move. Cruyff never said it was revenge. But come on, you don't just tear down your old club's pride without a good reason. He was a hero to Feyenoord, a paradox for Ajax, a man who made them, broke them, and then walked away with a smile that said, "You should have known better." Football history is full of betrayals, but for the person at the center of it all, those moments were nothing short of chaotic. Today, in our Every Disgusting Football Betrayal video, we broke down some of the most shocking ones. So, which betrayal in this video did you find the most disturbing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if there's a name we missed that you want to see in the next video, make sure to let us know. See you there.